Do you know what an energy vampire is? You would have encountered an energy vampire more than once in your day-to-day journey, but you may not even know it. If you want to learn more about what energy vampires are and how you can stop them, tune into the rest of this video. Yes, energy vampires exist. Just as you've been thinking that vampires are gonna always be like the Hollywood Bram Stoker type of Dracula, the reality is there are individuals out there who literally feed on your energy. Let me give you a working example. Have you ever been in a place where you start your day off and you're really high in energy, you're really amped, you're really positive, and it's like everything is just right, just perfect. Then all of a sudden, a particular individual just comes in and talks with you, and before you know it, they're dumping a whole lot of negative stuff about what they're dealing with and so on and so forth. And when they're finished talking with you, they just leave the room, they leave the office or whatever the case may be. And all of a sudden you realize that your energy level that was up so high is all of a sudden down here. It's almost like life force and life essence was taken out of you. And guess what? Yes, you were the victim of an energy vampire. In terms of some of the things that you'll feel once you've had an encounter with an energy vampire. For one, you'll find your energy level drops. You'll find that your thinking shrinks. You'll find that your overall passion and your zeal drops back a gear or two. So what do you do to stop an energy vampire? Okay, one of the first things that you could do is create boundaries. For instance, no. Learn the word no. That's the first boundary you need to learn. For instance, you don't have to tolerate persons coming into your space and literally just dumping negativity onto you and into your consciousness and changing your vibration and changing your frequency. Some people do this without knowing that they're doing this. But the reality is there are some individuals out there who do this knowingly, and they want to take your energy, they want to take your joy, they want to take your high vitality, they want to take that thing that they can sense on the inside of you that makes you strong, that makes you different, that makes you stand out. So here it is, you have to basically create boundaries of yourself when you encounter energy vampires who want to take from your soul force. For one, don't make it a practice of associating with individuals who are known to you as energy vampires, because what it will do is it will take away from the trajectory and the focus of you accomplishing your purpose and the task that you've been mandated to do. You must understand that some of these energy vampires have actually been assigned to you to basically siphon you and to push you off of your path of purpose and destiny. So you must be strong in terms of your bearing and know what your boundaries are in terms of your general interaction with other humans. For instance, believe it or not, you can transfer energy whenever you shake hands or whenever you hug another individual. And in most instances, if an individual is of a higher frequency interacting or going to say hug or shake an individual who hand or hug somebody who is of a lower frequency, what normally happens is they meet in the middle. So if you are operating at a 40 and you're meeting a person who's operating at a 30, in order to sync with that person, you will have to come into a 35 frequency. So the reality is the The energy vampire is the person who is operating at a lower frequency. So here it is, in interacting with you, they're feeding on your energy and vitality, and what is going to happen is they're going to up their vitality and energy. So this is something that you must be mindful of when you're interacting with energy vampires. Another thing with energy vampires, you have some energy vampires like the succubus and the incubus demon entities who feed on energy through the sexual interaction, through sexual intercourse. And this is another thing that you must be mindful of when you're interacting with other souls on this three-dimensional plane. You can't be willy-nilly jumping into bed with Tom, Dick, and Harry, as my grandmother and grandfather would tell me. You must be very precise in ensuring that you have some depth and tie of bond based in something that is long-term and positive and filled on a relationship that is balanced. Because if the relationship is not balanced, it means that one of the persons in the relationship will become a vampire, an energy vampire. So here it is, safeguard yourself in sex, learn how to say no, and third, create boundaries in your space. Don't allow persons to dictate your environment. And another thing I want to say about energy vampires, you got to be mindful of the music that you're dealing with. Here it is, there's certain music that will actually take energy from you, and there's certain music that will give you energy, that will put energy into you. And if you notice, okay, if you're listening to music that is constantly saying kill, 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 murder, 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 rape, 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 you're playing that in your consciousness, you're putting that in your energy field, you're literally becoming that energy. And what you're going to find is the nature of energy is like attracts like. What you're going to find is you're going to attract that negativity into your world, you're going to attract that negativity into your life. So if you are thinking about that type of stuff, you're going to find that those type of personalities are going to come into your world. And so you have to be mindful that there are vampires out there who are going to feed on certain things. You see, here it is, some different from the vampires, the energy vampires that feed on sexual liaisons. There are energy vampires who feed on alcohol, for instance. Persons who passed on and don't realize they passed on. Say, for instance, if they were an alcoholic in their life and they're still roaming this earth, they'll find themselves drawn to bars, and they'll find themselves drawn to persons who are prone to be alcoholics, and they will attach themselves to that personality, and they will try putting that thought and that thing into them so that they can feed off of that habit. So here it is, a person who didn't drink, for instance, and a nearby relative who used to drink. Say, for instance, a son who never drank, and then there's a father who was an alcoholic, and the father died, and the son held on to the father's essence and energy and didn't allow the father to cross over properly. That father roams and attaches himself to that son, but he wants the taste of alcohol. So all of a sudden that son will feel this desire to start drinking, and then before you know it, he starts off with something small, like an alcoholic beer, and it goes up and up and up and up. Before you know it, that particular entity has taken over the son, and that son basically is not only just feeding the spirit of the father that passed on, but is also feeding the spirit that is within alcohol itself. That particular spirit is called Azul. So these are some of the things you got to be mindful of in terms of your energy. There are energy vampires out there, and they take different forms, as you see, not just sexually, but also some persons want the energy just to amp and hype themselves up. And then there are those energy vampires that are actually attachments from either lower entities or other demons or deceased individuals. But yeah, maybe I may be getting too deep for you right now. But yeah, be mindful. Just watch yourself as you go about in this day-to-day world. Those are energy vampires out there. Protect yourself. Protect your space.